women's basketball teleconference. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you should need assistance during the conference and you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. I will now turn the call over to Kelly Briscoe. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for participating in the first of 2 Missouri Valley Conference women's basketball calls. Happy holidays, everybody. And first caller, or first coach on the line this morning is Drake's head coach, Jenny Baranchuk. Jenny, good morning. How are you? Are you there, Coach?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit about, obviously, it was a heartbreaker when Kendall Clark went down, and we already knew Lizzie would step up, but kind of talk about some of the other young players that you've had, or maybe somebody unexpected that has stepped up in her absence so far.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a heartbreaker when you have, such a great player. Kendall just came off an incredible year last year, and even more important, was just an incredible leader for us and had a lot of experience as a senior, and to be able to, to have that happen, it's really hard for a team to adjust, especially a young team. And I think, we've had a little bit of a roller coaster in the non-conference season, but I think we're starting to find our identity a little bit more. And Lizzie Wendell is just proven that she's one of the best players in our conference. There's a lot of great players in our conference, and I think she's right up there. But I also think Caitlin Engel has done an incredible job. So when you're talking about your veteran leadership as a sophomore, as both of them are sophomores, our future's bright. But in the present, I think there's things that you do well, and there's things where you just want to pull your hair out. So I like the growth of our team. I like how we started, but we've got a long way to go, too.
Thanks, Jenny. At this time, I'll go ahead and open up for questions for you.
At this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, star, then the number 1. Your first question comes from Bryce Williams with the Saluki Sports Network.
Talk about Maddie Dean. Did you expect this out of her as a freshman coming in?
You never know really what to expect from freshmen, to be honest. But I think she's a very good basketball player that knows how to score the basketball, and she just has a high basketball IQ. So she passes the ball well, and she can rebound the ball. So yes, in their expectations, but also when it comes to freshmen and when the game lights go on, you really never know until you're in it.
And Caitlin Engel, is it the system that makes her such a good passer, or is it just her basketball IQ?
Yeah, I don't think coaches can take any credit for her being such a good basketball player. I think that she does a nice job on the full court. I think she has a high basketball IQ. Part of it probably is the system, but you're also playing, with Lizzie Wendell, who is such a great player. But, at the same time, I think Caitlin she makes something out of nothing a lot of times, and that has all to do with what she's capable of and how she has court vision.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Hi, Jenny. I'm curious, with Kendall off the floor, who has emerged as your leader?
Good question, Jill. And I think, again, we're working a lot on trying to figure out what our leadership looks like and how to define it. But when the day's over, our 2 leaders are on the floor, are Lizzie Wendell and Caitlin Engel. Liza Heap's another senior for us that does a lot of the little things that maybe don't go, very noticed, and obviously the stat line, but does a lot of little things on the floor and in practice every day. But our quote-unquote veteran leadership comes from our sophomore class.
That's pretty impressive. My other question is, you continue to really put a lot of points on the board. Talk about your defense a little bit, please.
Good question, Jill. Spoken from an old coach, right?
Yeah.
I think there's some good things that we can do defensively. I think probably the biggest question for us right now is twofold, and it's no stranger. Everybody can read it on a stat sheet. Is we've got to do a better job on the board, and we've got to do a better job keeping people off the free throw line. Defensively, I think there's some things that we maybe do well, maybe we don't do well. There's a lot of possessions in our games because of the style of play, too, so the points are a little bit different. But we've got to continue to hone in and focus a lot on those second chance opportunities to keep people off the foul line.
Great answer. Thanks, Jenny. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you. Happy New Year.
You too.
Jeannie, I think that's all the questions for you. I'll let you get back to your day. Thanks again, and good
All
luck.
right. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thanks. All right, our next coach on the line should be head coach Kelly Harper of Missouri State. Kelly, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. You guys had a hot win over a good team coming in at Indiana State. What kind of worked well for you during that game?
Well, I thought our players were about as locked in defensively as they could have been to start the half or to start the game. And at the same time, we were making shots on the other end. And so we had great focus on both ends of the floor. Our preparation was stellar going into that game. And, we just felt good about ourselves and started the game well.
Thanks, Kelly. This time I'll open it up for questions from the media.
Please press star, then the number 1 to ask your question. Again, star, then the number 1. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Kelly, that was a great win. Did you feel like things finally came together? It seems like your offense has been inconsistent, but in that game it seemed like everybody was hitting.
Yeah, I thought our tempo was really good for the majority of the first half, and I think that tempo was the similar tempo we had against Arkansas, which I thought we played well against Arkansas, even though we lost. So, I thought I think that's how we need to score best is to get the tempo in our favor, and that can change game to game. But our players understood going into the game against Indiana State what it needed to look like, and I think we took really good shots. We've taken really good shots in the past and missed them. It was just one of those games that our shots were falling.
How big of an impact is it to have Snow back in your lineup?
Well, Tiana Snow is an impact player. She makes a lot of plays, and the thing is, she missed 8 games, and so for us, when we get a player like that back, she's such a game changer that we're still now trying to make sure we understand what our identity is with her back. And, it takes some time. I think we've stumbled upon some things which could be positive for us. But, when your lineup and when your roster is inconsistent, like ours was, actually been all season, you struggle to really define what your team is and who your team can be.
Thank you. I do have one quick question, too. Bottle has really had a breakout season so far. Could you talk about her a little bit?
Yeah, Hillary Quaddle is playing really well, averaging nearly a double-double, and this is something that we felt like she could get to, and we felt like we felt this last year. We just could not get her to that point last year, and I think some of her success has been we didn't have anybody else to take the lead, and she by default has to step up, and now she's playing with a lot of confidence. Her teammates are playing with a lot of confidence in her. We felt like we saw this in her, but credit to her for going out and doing it this year.
Sure. Great. Thanks. Good luck this week, Kelly.
Thank you so much.
Your next question comes from Wendell Scranton with the Springfield News Leader.
Yeah, Coach, Wichita State coming to town on Friday. What are the biggest challenges they'll present to you?
Oh, where do you start? Obviously, Wichita State is a super talented team. They are excellent defensively. They are intelligent basketball players on both ends of the court. They really go out and execute a game plan. You can watch them play, and as an observer, you can tell what they're trying to do. There's no doubt about the game plan when you see them play. So, you've got to come in physical. You got to be mentally tough. You've got to handle the basketball, and then you've got to be able to guard a very intelligent basketball team that's going to take great shots.
Of course, taking care of the ball continues to be a bit of an issue for you guys. How do you just keep working at it, keep harping on it, and hopefully it'll kick in?
Yeah, as a coach, our last two games, obviously we've turned the ball over numerous times, and that's not exactly how you want to be playing when you're about to play Wichita State. So, for us, we'll be practicing against pressure. We can't simulate Wichita State with our team. There's and we don't have our practice players here right now because of Christmas break. So we'll be a little bit challenged with our preparation, but we're going to do the best we can do to try to put our players in position to improve this week and hopefully be successful on Friday.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from Bryce Williams with Saluki Sports Network.
Hey, Coach, with so many injuries early in the season, in the long run, could that end up helping you out because you got so many kids, a lot of playing time, a lot of floor time?
Well, I think you never know who's going to have to step up, especially late in the season, even in the conference tournament. And because of our low numbers at times this year, we have played a lot of people, and we've pretty much everyone on our roster has played minutes, and actually big minutes. So, we hope that gives us some experience going down the stretch. The negative about it, like I said a little bit earlier, is trying to get people back. When you get people back, your team changes a little bit, and you have to rework who you are and what you can do. So it just takes some time. We hope to to continue to get better as we add players.
Thanks, Coach.
Kelly, I think that's all the questions for you. Thanks again for hopping on, and best of luck this weekend.
All right, thanks a lot.
Next on the line should be head coach Michael Brooks of Bradley. Michael, good afternoon. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year. It's good to talk to you.
You too. Talk a little bit about how the impact that Whitney has made since she started playing in your lineup the last 5 games.
Definitely. It's been wonderful to have Whitney for the last, 4 games. She's been our leading scorer, leading rebounder. She was named captain of our team for a reason at the beginning of this year. She brings such heart, determination, passion. She understands her role on this team and has really taken it to heart. It was hard without her at the beginning of the year as we knew what we were missing in that spot. But as she, she's had a year off of basketball, and as she gets more comfortable playing, gets in better playing shape, as it's always different when the speed of the game hits you. So as she continues to get more accustomed to the game, understanding her teammates better, getting in to the flow of conference basketball, she'll only get better and better as time goes.
All right, thanks, Coach. This time I'll open up for questions for you.
Please press star then the number 1 to ask a question. Again, star then the number 1. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
I thought at the beginning of the year your challenge was going to be blending your 3 returners, 3 transfers, and 6 freshmen. How has that worked out for you?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
I'm good.
My senior says New York. I hope everything's good.
Yeah, right. It's good.
It's a challenge just getting 6 freshmen to understand how to play at the college pace and at the college game. I think Michelle Young did a wonderful job of incorporating our team through team building exercises this summer from her time spent just with Whitney, incorporating them into our lives. I think it's very difficult for everybody to understand their roles. We've had sickness, we've had injuries, we've had people persevering through things. So this is like the first time this last game was the first time that we had everybody available and ready to be able to play. And even then, we still had somebody with a broken rib who was limited in her minutes. So it's a challenge when you're putting people out there who aren't sure of their roles, who are still trying to find confidence. And with losing the amount of games we've lost, they haven't been able to find confidence on the court or confidence in themselves. So, that's all we're focused on right now is, giving them that confidence, showing them what they can do, spending the time in the film room, showing them and can continue to explain what their roles are, where we see them helping this team. And, it's a lot of work away from the basketball court to be able to get our mental approach to where it needs to be able to be successful when it comes to doing the physical things on the court.
And quickly, could you talk a little bit about Schluter and how she made that transition from Germany to U.S. college basketball?
Definitely. Annika has been a starter for 13 games for us, playing about 25 minutes a game. It's very difficult. I think for her, the biggest transition was the physicality of the game. I don't think she was prepared for what happens when that ball goes up in the air. It's a different battle rebounding. It's a different battle on the ground. There's no acting in our game, and I think sometimes in the European game it's a little bit different, and she's had to become accustomed to playing through some of those things. But she's been such a mature young woman as she's had to face the challenges of being homesick, about being hours away from home and not being able to return. But we try to set up our schedule to allow her to be able to return for Christmas and have that time with her family. But while she's here, she's been devoted. She's been a believer. She's working hard every day in the gym, extra shots, and we can't wait for her to get a couple of those to fall for herself, so that she can get that confidence she needs and understand that all that hard work that she's been putting in is for positives.
All right, thanks, Mike. Good luck.
No problem, Coach. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it.
Coach, I think that's all the questions for you. Thanks for hopping on. And
No problem. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too.
All right.
Our next coach on the line should be head coach Cheryl Tsu from Loyola. Cheryl, good afternoon. How are you? Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Coach, talk a little about how Taylor Manuel's made an impact since she started playing, I think, 5 games now.
Well, I probably can relate to Coach Brooks, to Coach Harper, with a lot of the things they were saying. But I can tell you, Taylor Manuel's been a huge addition for us on both ends of the floor. And as Coach Brooks said, we made Taylor Manuel a captain of this team for a reason. I think she's still very rusty. Taylor was out of the game for about a year and a half, so she's still trying to find her way, figure out where she fits. And she's done some great things for us so far this season, and it's great to be able to have a player such as a Taylor Manuel that you can count on every single day to come in, go to work, and be a pretty good leader for this team. And hopefully we can just find a few more pieces to put around her to make it work.
Thanks, Cheryl. At this time, I'll go ahead and open up for questions for you.
Please press star then the number 1 to ask your question. Star then the number 1. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Cheryl, I can't believe your injuries again this year.
Oh, Jill, how did I know you were going to say that?
Oh, I can't get over you having to deal with this. But
Happy New Year to you, by the way.
Same to you.
Thank you.
You got a couple of freshmen that are kind of stepping up and contributing. Talk about Johnson and Washington a little bit. New faces.
You said Johnson and Washington?
Yeah.
Well, Destiny's just an athlete. And unfortunately, she, right before Christmas break, she's been dealing with a hamstring injury a little bit here and there. She's been off and on. So we really haven't been able to have any consistency with our team, with our players, not knowing who you're going to have from one day to the next. But, Destiny, we're coming into the season, we were expecting some big things from her. She's long, she's lean, she's athletic. She can score the basketball for us, and she's a good defender. But at the end of the day, she's still a freshman, so she's still adjusting to the speed of the college game, the physicality of the college game, and just figuring out exactly where she fits in. But, if we can find a way to get her confidence going and, just overcome injuries with her. I like our chances with her in the lineup. Ryan Johnson, Ryan's role coming in this season was really to play defense and to rebound the basketball for us. She really wasn't expected to come in and have to score. She's very young. She's a freshman. She's very raw, but with a lot of talent and a lot of potential. Unfortunately, with the injuries that we've had, her roles had to change a little bit, and, any scoring that she can give us is definitely a plus. But expecting a lot of great things from Ryan. She can run the floor. Again, she's a freshman, so she kind of goes. She's up and down and still trying to find her way around the college game. But really expecting some big things from her as well.
Good. Well, I hope you can keep some of them healthy.
You and me both.
Combinations. Yeah. Good luck, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Cheryl, looks like that's all the questions for you today. Thanks again.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks. Next up, we should have head coach Jody Adams of Wichita State. Jody, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Jody, you guys have been playing really great basketball. We're one possession away from knocking off Tennessee at home. What makes your team so consistent day in and day out? Games, practices, everything.
I think it starts in practice. I think the consistency of what is our ID, our identification. Who are we? As a team, and that's built around our defense and continues to be. So I think the consistency there of what we're doing, and Coach Crawford is the defensive coordinator, does a great job with the group, and we get after it every day defensively. So I think the more repetitions we get, especially with 3 seniors and 2 especially that have been in this system, you rely on their actions and their communication to bring the other ones along, and we have a great group of followers. So I think it starts in practice with us and just the consistency of how we work.
Thanks, Coach. This time, open up for questions for you.
Please press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Jody, I don't know how you're doing it with as few bodies as you've got. Have you got your practice guys back over break?
Yeah, we have our practice guys here. We do.
Well, that would definitely make a difference. And obviously your defense continues to be your identity. But it seems that you've been a little inconsistent on the boards this year. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I think we're seeing a lot of zone. We should be hitting the offensive boards because you're at a disadvantage when you're in a zone to be able to rebound, especially on the backside. So, there's 3 things that we talk about when playing against, a zone defense or someone that's trying to set it off of making a miss. And, that's our transition game, that's our spacing, and that's our ability to crash the board so we can have extra possessions. But, I think that's just something, again, it starts in practice. It starts with our game planning. Everybody on my staff is talking about the same thing and enforcing it. And then you have a group of upperclassmen that demands it from, the rest of the group.
Another question. You got 4 starters back, but Allie Decker has really stepped up her game, it looks like, this year. Could you talk about her a little bit?
Allie's a young lady that, first of all, she's one that has great vision of what she wants to do and who she wants to be for your program. So I'm very lucky to have someone like her in my program. She has worked very, very hard, Jill, not just on her craft of shooting the ball, but changing her body and changing her mind. And, and that's just time that we have spent together in several different conversations of doing that and her approach. And I think her maturity and her mature conversations with me over the past years and how she has grown has allowed her game to grow. So that's what I think, she's always been a great shooter. There's really nothing that's changed about her shooting mechanics. That's why she's here. And that is her craft. But she's changed her mind. Her mindset, her confidence, and that starts by, her work. And we talked about her motor being different this year and getting in better shape, and she changed her body over the summer. And I just think you see a young lady that, you talk about, wanting to help young women in all different ways, and not just on the court. You want to help them as a person, and this is a young lady that has been able to take tough coaching and honest approaches and absorb it and have mature conversations back with you and come in and ask you questions in tough times. And it's just, it's an amazing relationship, really. And you got to give credit to the young lady because she has worked not just 1 year, but several years to make all these changes. And now she's reaping the benefits, with individual, attention. And obviously she's helping this team. And, and she just doesn't want to be known as a shooter. She wants to be known as a scorer. So she continues to work on that. And just blessed as a coach to have such a, a great young lady to coach.
Yeah, she sounds pretty special.
Yeah, she is. She really is.
Yeah. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Jill.
Your next question comes from Bryce Williams with the Saluki Sports Network.
Hey, Coach, you guys did lose Michelle Price last year. Are you still trying to find that true post presence?
I can't say that we've ever had a true post presence, to be quite honest with you. I don't know if we recruit that way. We like our face-up post players. We like versatility with our posts that can play with the back to their basket and also face up. And that's how we recruit. We just don't want a one-dimensional post. And if they're a one-dimensional post for us, we hope to have them at about 6'3". And knowing that you get a 6'3" kid, you know what you're teaching and what your time's going to be over the course of the year. Because those 6'3" posts that are stretch and can do multiple things, they're usually going to the Big 5 conferences. So we just now got in a 6'3" kid that's going to have 3 years with us, and I would classify her mostly as a low block player that has probably 12-foot range. But we don't typically recruit like that. What we miss with Michelle, though, is her instincts defensively, her deflections, her guarding the best post, on the floor, her activity. It makes it very difficult for a low block player to settle in. But I think with the schemes that we have and the multiple players that we run at bigs that sit at the low block cause havoc. And you can see that against Tennessee. You can see that against the bigs that like to sit at the block. So that's how we've handled not having her, but she's a huge miss.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Jody, I think that's all the questions for you. Best of luck, and I'll see you Saturday in Springfield.
Okay, sounds great. Y'all have a good one. Happy New Year.
Next coach on the line should be head coach Otis Epps of Evansville. Otis, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well, Kelly. How are you?
Doing well. Coach, you guys had a pretty good month of December, and then coming off a good win at Missouri State, and you guys were in the game at Wichita pretty much till the very end. You kind of think your team's playing the best basketball of the year right now, or?
Well, we played well. I was very pleased with our performance over the weekend at Missouri State and at Wichita. And one of the things as a coaching staff that we were talking about was finding out if we were good enough to compete with the top-tier teams in the league, and I think we are good enough. Right now we're still trying to find our way in terms of our maturity and the consistency in which we practice, but it was a good weekend for us, and, we want to continue to build on the positive things that we're able to do at Wichita. I thought they put us in a lot of compromising situations that we can grow from.
Thanks, Coach. At this time, we'll open up for questions from the media.
Please press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Star and the number 1. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Hey, Otis. Good win last weekend, but it seems that you've really been juggling your lineup quite a bit this season. Do you feel like you've settled into something yet?
Yeah, we're trying to be consistent in terms of how we rotate and how we start games. One of the areas of improvement that we have is our point guard play. We haven't had consistent point guard play, and it's hindered us in a lot of games. But for the most part, in terms of how we rotate, we're going to play 8 to 9 kids. It's just a matter of being able to solidify that point guard position. But I like having Kanaya at 3 and Sarah Dickey at the 2 for us. Gives us some athleticism and versatility in those spots.
Talk about Mallory Ladd. She continues to impress me. I mean, she just seems to do everything for you.
Yeah, she's a fantastic player, and she really locked in this summer in terms of developing her game. She's more comfortable on putting the ball down if she needs to, being under control, gathering herself, hitting that mid-range shot. We always love the fact that she just battles and competes with whoever she's going against, but now she's more confident around the basket, and you add that with her shooting, she gives us a versatility in that 5 position that's hard to deal with.
Yeah. Good job, Coach. Good luck
Thank you, Jill.
week.
Thank you very much.
Your next question comes from Bryce Williams with Saluki Sports Network.
Hey, Coach, I know that Kristen Hart and Kat Taylor both played through injuries through their career, but at the same time, they've both been able to score. Can they be that third scorer besides Vicky and Ladd?
Yeah, we are really trying to get Christian to be a third scorer for us, and then we like Kat. We think Kat can give us 10 to 12 points a game. But again, they've been hampered by injury throughout their entire career, as you mentioned, and it's hard for them to practice. You play a game, they've got to be off a day. If you have a hard practice, they're off the next day. So it's hard for them to build the consistency in practice to be consistent in the games. But we really would like for Christian to become a third scorer for us. We know she has the ability. It's just right now just trying to get her to a point mentally where she can endure the grind of a practice and then a game to build the consistency that she needs.
Is she still struggling with the ACL? I mean, how to change her game from before the ACL to after the ACL?
Well, it's just your mindset. You've got to be able to trust it, and I think that's something that's still a work in progress for her. I don't think she fully trusts that she's healed, and so when you have that, as a coach, you're very limited in terms of what you can do to get her beyond that mental state, other than supporting her and encouraging her. And I use some of the players in the league as an example for her. I think Kenzie Williams, in the way that she's come back from her ACL, should be an inspiration to her because she doesn't wear it. You don't see it. I don't know what their protocol is with her in terms of how she practices, but in games, you don't know that she came off ACL. And so we've been trying to use those kind of examples to motivate her to move beyond the mindset she's in.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
So, Keith, looks like that's all the questions for you today. Best of luck this weekend, and thanks for joining the call.
All right, Briscoe. See you soon.
See ya. Our next coach on the line should be head coach Barb Smith from Illinois State. Barb, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. Good afternoon and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thanks. Barb, you guys are still looking for that first win. Seems like you're kind of closing the gap. Played really well against Southern and then just kind of let it slip away at the end. What do you think it's going to kind of take to get your team over the hump, and how is their attitude kind of right now?
Our team is very resilient, and they come to work every day, and they're continuing to get better. I was happy for our team. That first half was the biggest lead we've ever had. We've been battling injury. We had food poisoning on the road. We've had the flu bug. Everything has come through, and we've not had everybody together. To date, we still don't have everybody together. So the ones that are here are just trying to get better every day. We've got goals set. We just want to take steps every day, and eventually we'll have everybody back. But we are getting stronger as a team. We're working on maturity. We're working on consistency. We just have had to move people around in position, and we're still trying to find that point guard answer. With the loss of Chloe Nelson last year, who just embraced that position, it's just been hard for somebody to step up and fill those shoes.
Sure. Thanks, Coach. At this time, I'll open up for questions from the media.
Please press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Hey, Barb.
Hey, Jill.
Will you get Gebhardt and Smith back this season? I mean, those two, it seemed like they were right there, and now then you lost them.
Yes. The answer to that question is yes, but it's just undetermined, and it's, it was Lindsey Smith has just been through, she's been through it. She's had 3 hip surgeries, and she's had a knee situation recently, so she's almost back, but she's not going to be ready yet. So it's kind of a day-by-day thing with both of them. Today actually was their first non-contact practice where they could do some things. So we're inching back, Jill. We're trying to get back. We've got Mary coming. We've got Lindsay on deck and Kay in the hole.
There's progress then.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about Sue Crump. She has moments when she looks great, and then moments when she just isn't quite there.
Yeah, I think Sue is. She's grown so much this year, and on and off the floor. Highest GPA. She just has done some great things, and for her, it's all about just being consistent. And we're working on it every day. We're showing her when she is and isn't, and sometimes she gets lost out there. She doesn't know what she should do, and we keep saying, just play, just play, just play. And she's getting better at it, and she's becoming more of a leader, which is what we talked about at the beginning of this year with her. The best basketball for Sue has yet to be played.
Great. Good luck, Coach. Hang in there.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Barb, it looks like that's all the questions. Thanks for joining the call, and good luck this weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Next on the line should be head coach Joey Wells of Indiana State. Joey, good afternoon. How are you? Are you there, Joey?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joey, you guys had an awesome non-conference season. Top 25 opponent, had several amazing streaks going. Then you ran into a tough Wichita State team on the road and at Missouri State. You haven't had to come off a loss much this season, so what do you think it's going to take to get your team refocused and ready to go for this weekend?
I think it's just going to take time. We had 11 days between games, and then when we went to Wichita State, we kind of got punched in the chin in the beginning of it, and then we kind of fought back a little bit. Then I think there was some hangover when we went on to Missouri State, and then Missouri State played well as well. So I just think we forgot over a break what made us successful in the non-conference, which is we're really good when we play unselfish and we play connected, and we kind of played unconnected over this last weekend. So I think some practice time is going to get us back focused to where we need to be.
Thanks, Joey. At this time, open it up for questions from the media.
Please press star and the number 1. Your first question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
It looks like you've been able to settle into a good starting lineup, and that's been really consistent. And the thing that has impressed me is how many different kids have led you in scoring. I mean, it seems like you've got some balance this year. How do you feel about that?
No, we do. We definitely have balance. It's a great thing to know that when you go to a game, somebody different can step up for you. But it's also kind of a scary thing, too, and I think it's hurt us in a couple of games where we don't have that consistent, we know we're going to get 15 from this person every night. And so we're still trying to search for that people that we know every night they're going to give it to us. And then if we can get that third or fourth person in there, we have a chance to win every game. But I think most of all, I think defensively we've been able to create some offense for us, and our momentum has picked up from our defensive end.
I noticed your defense has been consistent, and I know that that's part of your identity. But Missouri State really came out and hit an awful lot of shots against you in that first half. Was there something they did or something that your kids just weren't ready after the loss, or what?
I don't want to take anything away from Missouri State. I think they obviously came out. It's one of those deals that we told our players. This is opening weekend of the conference. You can't come away with 2 losses. They had lost one earlier that day on Friday, and we were in the same boat. And they just came out more aggressive and had more of a sense of urgency to them that we didn't have. And again, I think some of that is carrying over from the Wichita State one as well. Like I said, we haven't lost too many games, and so we're still trying to figure out how to bounce back from loss.
Gotcha. All right. Good luck, Joey.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Joey, I think that's all the questions for today. Best of luck this weekend. Thanks for joining the call.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Our next coach is head coach Tanya Warren of Northern Iowa. Tanya, good afternoon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Kelly.
Tanya, talk about you lost Hannah before the season started, and then of course Jen went down early in the season. Who, especially of your bigs, has kind of stepped up to take over for their them being missed?
Well, honestly, we're still really trying to find our way without Jen, but Alyssa Johnson has really done a nice job of embracing her role and really stepping up and not trying to be Jen, but just doing what she does and doing what she does well. And then Amber Sorensen has done a very good job of embracing the starting four for us. With Jen going down, we have had to play her a little bit at the 5. There's been times when we've had to go small. You can't control injuries. We just try to make the best out of the situation, and both of those kids have done a great job of embracing and stepping up for us.
Thanks, Tanya. This time we'll open it up for questions from the media.
Please press star, then the number 1. Your first question comes from Bryce Williams with the Saluki Sports Network.
Hey, Coach, you lost Jackie Kalin a couple years ago. Did that kind of help you, in your coaching of how to work with the kids after you lost Kyle a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. We had one or two decisions. It was either fear or faith, and we chose faith. I think our kids understand that we have to be able to control what we can control. We can't control injuries, but it is an opportunity for us, some other kids to step up and us still to stay together. And as long as we can stay together, we still have a chance, and that has been our mindset.
Madison Weekly, she's probably the one that stepped up the most. What's changed in her game from last year?
Well, Madison Weekly, what people don't understand is games and really played a majority of the season injured. But Madison has made a nice jump. She obviously shoots the 3 extremely well with range, but she also can put the basketball on the floor and get to the rim, and she can shoot the mid-range jump shot. She has a great variety to her game, and she handles the basketball extremely well. So the fact that she shoots it so well with range allows her to be able to put the basketball on the floor and really try to keep defense pretty much off balance.
See you Friday, Coach.
See ya.
Your next question comes from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Hey, Tanya. I noticed that defensively you're probably giving up more points than you typically do. That's usually one of your strengths. Is that because of having to rotate players and trying to find the right combinations?
That has a lot to do with it. We're still trying to really find the right combination, find our way. We haven't really been able to mix up defenses like we have in the past, but that is something that we're working on, we're harping on. We have to do a better job of being more consistent and getting stops. Right now there are times where we're just okay with trading baskets. We have to do a better job of getting consecutive stops and that being a focus.
Gotcha. And Brittany just came back. Is she 100%?
She is 100%, but she's just been cleared to practice 100%. She's about a week or so in, so we're trying to get her back really kind of into the thick of things in terms of the practice mode, which will then carry over to her getting more game time.
Gotcha. So, Tanya, you really are kind of working with a 7-8 player rotation then, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
You bet.
Tanya, I think that's all the questions for today. Thanks for hopping on, and best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye-bye.
Thanks. All right, our final caller of the day is head coach Cindy Stein of Southern Illinois. Cindy, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
You guys have had a really, really good non-conference season, a nice comeback victory last week at Illinois State. What do you see as the biggest difference for this year to last, other than, you got some kids back from injuries and everything? What else has been working really well for you?
Well, I think that obviously those kids being back is definitely a key, but I just think that we're such a better defensive team this year. We at least have a sense of what we're supposed to do, even though we might not always do it. We at least know what we're doing wrong now. And offensively, I just think that they have a higher basketball IQ and knowing what to look for.
Okay, thanks. At this time, open it up for questions for you.
Press star, then the number 1 to ask a question. Your first question is from Jill Hutchison with the Valley TV.
Cindy, I was really impressed with the improvement in their basketball IQ. There's what a difference. But you're still having some trouble with turnovers. Is that because you've got new people, new from last year, handling the ball so much, or what?
Well, I would agree. I think that I felt like our Illinois State game, I mean, we made mistakes that we hadn't made in a long time. And a lot of it I would just attribute to nerves. I mean, they were very, very nervous for that game for whatever reason. And I think a lot of it had to do, there's not one kid in that locker room that's beaten Illinois State ever. And we're still learning that process of how to play with nerves, how to play when we're expected to win, how to play when the target's on our back, how to play when we're down. I mean, so we're still kind of going through that whole process of how to handle it all from a mental standpoint, as well as, getting our feet moving in the right spot. So, but we're getting there, and that was a great game for us to have. And but yeah, right. When we take care of the ball, we're such a better ball club.
Sure, no question. All right, good luck, Cindy. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Cindy, it looks like that's all the questions for you. Thanks again for joining, and best of luck this weekend.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. This wraps up our first Missouri Valley Conference Women's Basketball call. We'll have another one heading into the week of the tournament in March. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, basketball fans, the Missouri Valley Tournament in St. Charles, Missouri is coming soon. Make your team the home team at the MVC Tournament and get great seats for as little as $12 a session. Just $12. Don't miss the 2015 Missouri Valley Conference Women's Basketball Tournament, March 12th through 15th at Family Arena. Get your tickets and get to St. Charles now.